Good evening, universe. Tonight I'm going to be talking all about my top 10 most anticipated releases of the first half of 2021, because I think that if I did the whole year, I just would not be able to have it in a reasonably length video. I'm going to be going in order of when they're going to be releasing, and a little disclaimer, I might not get around to reading them immediately, but I am extremely excited for each of these books that's going to be coming out this year. The first book is Fireheart Tiger by Aliette de Bodard. This is a sapphic adult fantasy romance, I believe. I don't think it's young adult like most of my books, but I'm really excited for it anyway. You know, I'm not 100% sure what the plot is of this book, but I know that it follows a princess who has to reconfront her first love as she tries to figure out what happened in the royal court that she hails from. It takes place in a fantasy world based loosely on pre-colonial Vietnam, and I am just so excited to read this. I haven't read a fantasy story with that as the backdrop yet, so I'm really excited to check this one out. Plus, Sapphic. That one, by the way, comes out on February 9th. Exactly 1 week after that, on February 16th, we have the next book on my list, which is Reaper of Souls by Raina Barron. This is the sequel to Kingdom of Souls, which I just read a couple of months ago, and it left off on such a crazy note. I'm not going to say anything about it because I don't want to leave any spoilers, but it was powerful. It was amazing. So many things happened. I'm so excited to check out the next book in this series, to return to the main character who I grew so attached to, and to see how things are going to develop from that intense ending. The next book that I'm excited that it'll be releasing this year is A Dark and Hollow Star by Ashley Shuttleworth. This one releases on February 23rd. I don't honestly know what this book is about. I know that it's science fiction. I believe it's young adult. It's written by a non-binary author and features, I believe, 2 queer relationships. So I'm excited to check that out. I don't read that much science fiction, so I think it will be a good opportunity for me to branch out a tiny bit into that genre that I want to read more of. That one comes out on the 23rd of February, so we just have like bam, 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 week after week. And this next one is going to come out on March 2nd. It is Chain of Iron by Cassandra Clare. This is probably no surprise if you have followed this channel at all. I love Shadowhunters so much, and I am particularly loving this series. Cordelia Carstairs is such an amazing protagonist, and I'm so glad we get to be following her. I also love James and the villains. The antagonists set up in the first book of this trilogy. So exciting. Like, I loved the Dark Artifices, but I didn't super love the antagonists. I don't think that's going to be the case with this series at all. We finally have a little bit of a break in releases because the next one I'm excited for will be coming out on March 23rd, and that is Lost in the Neverwoods by Aiden Thomas. Aiden Thomas is the author of Cemetery Boys, which I believe received quite a bit of hype and love this last year. I haven't read that, but I am really excited to check this dark, magical retelling of Peter Pan. Then on March 30th, we have the release of Rule of Wolves by Leigh Bardugo, the second book in the King of Scars duology. I'm incredibly excited to read this. I love all of the protagonists in this book. I think it's fantastic. I love the Grishaverse, and I'm just really excited to find out where this goes, especially because Leigh Bardugo said that it's probably going to be the last one that she writes in the Grishaverse for a while. So I'm wondering where it's going to leave off the universe that makes her feel comfortable in stepping away for a little bit. I'm just so excited to see where Nikolai's story goes. Then on April 13th, we have Malice by Heather Walter. This is a retelling, I believe it's a retelling of Sleeping Beauty, except it's sapphic, and I think from the description, the basic idea is that the Sleeping Beauty character falls in love with the evil sorceress. So I'm all over this. I love the title. I love the cover. I can't wait to read this. Unfortunately, I will have to. Nearly 3 months. After that, we have These Feathered Flames by Alexandra Avery, and that's going to be releasing on April 20th. This is another one that I don't know too much about. I do know that it's a retelling of a Russian myth, which I believe is based on a firebird. And if I remember correctly, it has to do with twins. I was mostly excited by the retelling of a Russian folk tale. That seemed really exciting for me, especially because my grandpa is Russian, and I would like to get a trickle of his culture from this, because I think that's definitely how that works. The next book releasing after that I'm super excited for is going to be Realm Breaker by Victoria Aveyard. It's coming out on May 4th. Once again, I'm not 1000% sure what this book is about. I just know that I'm super excited for it because I love Victoria Aveyard. Her writing has only gotten better and better with each book that she's put out, and I can't wait to see what she does with this new one. All right, and the last book that I'm excited about is Queen of Coin and Whispers by Helen Corcoran. I keep seeing hype for this book. I'm really excited. It's another sapphic fantasy. I believe it's young adult. It follows a young lady who ascends to a throne of a kingdom that's not doing so hot, and she gets a new spy master who takes the job because she wants to get revenge for her father's murder. In the process, all sorts of romantic fantasy entanglements occur, and I'm super excited for it. Those are my top 10 most anticipated reads of 2021. I hope I get to all of them this year, but I also have a giant TBR, so we'll see what happens. And I'm sure as the year goes on, I will find tons more to be excited about. I already know that there are a couple in the later half of the year that I'm gonna be super looking forward to, but I'll tell you about that in a video closer to the time when they're going to release. For now, thanks for joining me and have a great night, universe.